Coco Gauff slams Australian Open over broadcast of private locker room outburst. The 21-year-old suffered a shock early exit from the tournament, losing in under an hour to Alina Svitolina, and vented her frustration in a rare display of anger after the match. The incident occurred in the players' area, away from the court, but was aired on Australian broadcaster Channel 9's live feed. Gauff later expressed her displeasure during her post-match press conference, questioning why such private moments are shown on television. "I have a thing with the broadcast," she said. "I feel like certain moments. The same thing happened to Arina Sabalenka after I played her in the US Open final. Don't need to be broadcast. I tried to go somewhere where I thought there wasn't a camera, because I don't like breaking rackets. I broke one at the French Open and said I would never do it again on court because I don't feel like that's a good representation. I went somewhere where I thought they wouldn't broadcast it, but obviously they did. Maybe some conversations can be had, because I feel like at this tournament the only private place we have is the locker room." Asked whether breaking the racket helped her process the loss, Gauff admitted it allowed her to release emotion before speaking to her team. "Yeah, definitely," she said. "I know myself. I don't want to lash out on my team. They are good people, and they don't deserve that. I know I'm emotional. I just took a minute to let it out. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't try to do it on court in front of kids and things like that. But I know I need to release that emotion, otherwise I'll just be snappy with the people around me." She added that her team had done their best and did not deserve to bear the brunt of her frustration. Gauff is widely regarded as one of the calmest figures on the WTA Tour and has carried heavy expectations since her teenage breakthrough. She won her first Grand Slam title at the US Open at just 19, cementing her status as a leading figure in American tennis. In the modern world of professional sport, athletes navigate more than just opponents on the field of play. They contend with scrutiny, cameras, social media, sponsors, and an audience that expects access at all times. When Coco Gauff, the 21-year-old American tennis star and world number 3, publicly criticized the Australian Open for broadcasting footage of her private outburst after a tough loss, she ignited a conversation that goes far beyond a single moment of frustration. What was initially a personal reaction to defeat has become a flashpoint in a larger debate about privacy, professionalism, and respect in elite athletics. The incident, more than just a racket smash. At the 2026 Australian Open, Coco Gauff exited the tournament in the quarterfinals after a decisive loss to Alina Svitolina. Frustration mounted in the match as Gauff struggled with her game, committing numerous unforced errors and falling behind. Following 59 minutes of intense competition and a disappointing scoreline, she left the center court visibly upset. But it was what happened next that triggered the storm. Seeking a moment to decompress, Gauff walked away from public view in the venue, intending to find a spot she believed was not monitored by cameras. There, she let her frustration out by smashing her tennis racket against a concrete surface. It was not a theatrical spectacle. It was a private emotional release, one she hoped to keep away from the global audience. But despite her efforts to retreat from the spotlight, television cameras captured the scene, and it was broadcast live and widely shared online. The result was a viral clip and a player left to grapple not only with her defeat, but with an intensely personal moment shared worldwide without her consent. What might have been merely a footnote in a grueling day became a story with global attention and meaningful ramifications. Gauff's response: privacy, respect, and emotional honesty. In the build-up to this Grand Slam, Gauff had already taken a thoughtful stance on her own emotional reactions. After an earlier incident at the French Open, she had publicly stated she did not want to break rackets during matches, especially in front of young fans, because she believed it was not a good example. But in this case, her reaction was not impulsive or performative. It was intentional. She chose a secluded area to avoid camera specifically because she did not want her vulnerability aired publicly. In her post-match comments, Gauff explained her discomfort with the situation. "I tried to go somewhere where there were no cameras. Maybe some conversations can be had because I feel like at this tournament, the only private place we have is the locker room." Her plea wasn't that athletes should be hidden entirely, that they should play in a bubble, but that there should be reasonable privacy for moments that are not part of the performance. It was a call for boundaries, for respect, and for recognition that players are human beings first and stars second. This reflects a broader truth. Professional athletes, especially at the highest levels, are under constant scrutiny, not just on the court, but off it too. Every expression of emotion can be recorded, every reaction archived for eternity, and every vulnerable moment dissected by millions. For a generation of players who have grown up with social media amplifying every second of their lives, the strain can be intense. Gauff's stand is, at its heart, a plea for compassion. Reactions from the tennis world. Gauff's comments struck a chord with many within the tennis community. Several of her peers, including top-ranked players, echoed her concerns. Iga Swiatek, the world #1, publicly backed Gauff's call for greater privacy. In striking terms, she likened the environment to being animals in a zoo, observed at all moments even when players were not on court. While acknowledging his own unique perspective, Swiatek's imagery underscored a shared sentiment among players. The current level of surveillance feels overwhelming and unnecessary for off-court moments. Others echoed the idea that while fans and broadcasters naturally want content, there's a difference between capturing athletic performance and exposing personal emotional reactions. Some players noted that broadcast cameras extend far beyond the public areas of competition into spaces where athletes should reasonably expect privacy. This consensus among players, from Gauff to Swiatek to others, signals that this is not a moment of isolated frustration, but a shared concern about athlete well-being, dignity, and mental health. Why privacy matters in modern sport. To many fans, the idea that professional athletes might need privacy seems almost contradictory. After all, these individuals build careers on public performance, fame, and media presence. But what distinguishes players like Gauff in her plea is that she isn't rejecting visibility. She's questioning its limits. Professional sport has always balanced public interest with personal boundaries. In earlier decades, cameras rarely left the venues. Today, with behind-the-scenes cameras, social feeds, and network coverage embedded everywhere, that boundary has blurred. The effect: athletes are not only watched while competing, they are documented while breathing between points, preparing behind closed doors, and yes, even trying to deal with disappointment privately.